like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
Today, we're stepping into a story that at first glance seems small, just fragments of a trip to a snowy, quiet country. But a single moment can turn into an entire narrative. And this time, it's not just a narrative. Because we're going to dive into the hidden moments of Jimin and Jungkook's trip to Switzerland. Not the moments captured on camera, not the polished clips they showed in the vlog, but the ones tucked behind quick glances, soft word choices, and tiny actions that often go unnoticed. You think this is just another travel vlog? Think again. There was one word Jungkook said. One small, simple word that slipped out without preparation, without planning, and without him realizing it carried an entire new layer of meaning. That word is Nangman. And once you understand the weight of that word, Switzerland no longer looks like a place filled with mountains and snow. It becomes the background of a story far softer, more intimate, and infinitely more meaningful than anything ever seen through the lens. So let's begin this journey. A journey into a space only visible if you pay attention to the smallest details. The crisp Swiss air, the winding roads of Furka Pass, Jimin's soft laughter, and the way Jungkook looks at him longer than any camera has ever recorded. We're going to unfold the hidden layers of their trip, words Jungkook chose without thinking, expressions Jimin didn't realize he made, actions that seem tiny but carry the weight of something deeper. This isn't just about mountains or landscapes or cold air brushing against their skin. It's about two people who found comfort, beauty, and intimacy simply by being beside one another. And everything shifted the moment Jungkook said one deceptively simple, devastatingly revealing word, Nangman. When Jungkook described their bicycle trip through Furka Pass as Nangman, something in the atmosphere shifted instantly. Time almost stopped. Because he wasn't choosing a word to describe scenery or excitement. He didn't say fun, cool, or exciting. He chose a word that in Korean holds layers of emotion no English translation can fully capture. In Korean, Nangman isn't just an emotion, it's an atmosphere. A state of being. A feeling that appears when the world slows down and life suddenly feels like a scene from a film. It's the moment when the person beside you becomes the center of your entire universe. When their presence alters the air around you, making it warmer, quieter, more meaningful. Their trip to Switzerland wasn't simply beautiful. It was a memory carved between them, maybe stored for a long time before it gently surfaced in the tiny stories they shared later. Imagine the two of them pedaling through Furka Pass, curving roads unfolding in front of them, cold air brushing their cheeks, sun peeking shyly through the clouds, the landscape stretching like a living painting. In the middle of all of that, Jungkook used one word, Nangman. Not fun. Not exciting. Not cool. He chose the word that only appears when someone sees another person in a way that defies explanation. A word that rises when someone's eyes shine brighter than the sky above them. A word that quietly announces, this moment, this person, I want to keep them longer than any camera ever could. And when Jungkook said it with that tiny smile he didn't even notice, one thing became undeniably clear. Switzerland wasn't just a trip for Jungkook. It was a feeling. And that feeling had a name, Jimin. Then came another moment, small but enormous once you pay attention, the lip balm. A tiny item that to most people means nothing, but to them, it was something else entirely. When they talked about what was inside their bags, everyone automatically called it Jimin's lip balm. But Jungkook immediately corrected it. That's not Jimin's lip balm. He said it gently, casually, but with a subtle depth. As if the line between mine and yours no longer existed. As if their tiny habits had already merged into shared habits. As if their belongings naturally shifted into ours. And that raises the real question. When do people move from individual ownership into shared ownership? This isn't about lip balm. This is about the kind of quiet intimacy that only exists between two people who are very close, very comfortable, and perhaps care deeply about each other in ways they don't voice aloud. The lip balm wasn't just a lip balm. It was shared routine. Unspoken togetherness. A tiny thread tying two people quietly closer. And the most honest moment came from Jimin. With a soft chuckle, he said, Jungkook spent the whole trip recording everything. Jungkook, without a trace of embarrassment, added, I don't know when I'll release it. I think I just kept filming Jimin's face the whole time. At that moment, everyone's breath stopped. He wasn't recording the scenery. He wasn't filming the food, the streets, the sky, the bicycles, the hotel, the flowers. He was filming Jimin. Jungkook traveled all the way to Switzerland, crossed continents seeking peace or inspiration, but the one thing he chose to immortalize was the person whose presence mattered to him most. Jimin's smile. Jimin's expressions. Jimin's laughter. Jimin's eyes sparkling under the soft Swiss light. If someone asked, what was the most beautiful view in Switzerland? Even without saying it out loud, Jungkook's answer would be obvious. Jimin. Furka Pass may have been stunning, but the real Nangman was the person riding beside him. Then comes the small, quiet worry many fans secretly share. What if Jungkook actually edits that footage, creates a GCF, with soft music, warm color grading, slow transitions, and intimate angles that can only be created by someone looking with affection? What if he shows Jimin from his own point of view, with that gentle gaze, with emotional closeness that simply cannot be staged? Honestly, none of us would survive it. So far, we've only seen glimpses, photos, jokes, livestream hints, tiny editorial notes. But GCF is Jungkook's world. It's his heart translated into visuals. It's his way of seeing someone. And if Jimin is inside that world, then the meaning is clear. Nangman is not just a word. Nangman is the definition of that trip. Nangman is poetic beauty, unspoken warmth, sudden nostalgia, dreamy scenes that feel like a movie, and the presence of someone who makes the world feel lighter. Nangman is Switzerland. Nangman is a little lip balm that somehow became ours. Nangman is laughter caught through Jungkook's lens. Nangman is the way Jungkook looked at Jimin even when the world offered breathtaking scenery. The word Nangman is nearly impossible to translate perfectly. It carries emotional layers, poetic nostalgia, dreamlike warmth, sentimental beauty, gentle loveliness that appears only with a certain person. The closest English approximation is romantic, but even that falls short. Because Nangman isn't romantic in a relationship sense, but romantic as a feeling, an atmosphere, a mood that blooms around someone important. The closest expression might be poetic, dreamy romantic feeling. Or a warm, cinematic sense of beauty shared between two people. And when Jungkook called that trip Nangman, it's hard to believe he was just talking about Switzerland. More likely, he was talking about the person who made Switzerland feel like home. In the end, everything comes back to that one word that makes their journey feel like a film we never want to end. Nangman. Nangman is the quiet Swiss roads. Nangman is the lip balm that became ours. Nangman is the camera that focused only on Jimin. Nangman is the gentle beauty of two people who don't need to announce anything, because everything is already visible in their smallest actions. Switzerland may be breathtaking, but for Jungkook, the most beautiful view was always walking right beside him.